All right, I know I'm pretty late with this one, but I still wanted to cover it because I actually enjoyed it a lot. And before anybody says it, I'm well aware that the premise is very vanilla. It's extremely vanilla. It's literally dead husband or dead relative or dead lover in this instance, right? They just died. The protagonist is kind of dealing with the grief, and then they start, seeing horror movie type shit. It's very typical. Even the setting is very vanilla. It's like a forest with a kind of cabin in the woods type house. It's very vanilla as far as like set pieces and premise goes. However, execution is what matters in these types of movies, because obviously there's only so many places you can make horror movies in. There's only so many things that can happen that can trigger horror events, right? And I'm not going to go into too many spoilers, but the death of the relative, or the death of the husband in this case, is not the only reason why horror things are happening. And I think that's one of the more interesting points of the movie. Again, not going to spoil it, not really going to get too much into it, but definitely worth watching, because although it takes very basic concepts, it does very interesting and I feel engaging things with it. It also had me clenching for like 65% of it, although there's only like maybe 3 or 4 jump scares. It's really not like, they're really kind of peppered through, and there's barely any. I mean, there are a few. I'm not gonna say if at all. There are a few, but it's really not that many, and you're just kind of tense the whole time because you feel like something's gonna happen, and the payoff is sometimes a jump scare, but honestly, sometimes the payoff is just that you've been clenching, and that's the payoff, that you were scared the whole time, right? And I don't think it's the type of movie that, like, it's not the scariest thing ever, right? But it is pretty scary, and it's not because of the jump scares. It is just because of the very tense mood, and that's also because there's a lot of scenes where it's just the protagonist. It's not like a group setting or anything, so I feel like that does add to it. Also, the protagonist, I'm gonna segue into that. The protagonist is very believable, I feel, and it's not the typical like the person dies and they just shut down or whatever. Like, there is that, but there's also a lot of like just anger and like angst and sadness, and there's so many emotions that this character is running through, and you see that displayed in the movie. And it's like, if somebody had their husband die in the way that she does, I'm not sure if it's evident in the trailer how the husband dies or anything, but I'm just not going to mention it just in case. But she runs through so many emotions in this movie, and it's very sad, I guess, to just see her kind of running through all these emotions, and it feels real to an extent. Sometimes in these movies, the protagonist can come off as very one-dimensional because you're not there for the protagonist. Let's be real. You're not there for the woman that's like running away from the killer. You're not there for that. But in this movie, the protagonist is actually a very relatable character, and you kind of end up rooting for her in the end because she's so relatable for a multitude of reasons that I will not get into it, because you should go see this movie. Also, speaking of that, she is not a dumbass, because a lot of characters in these types of movies, again, not only are they not really relatable, they are stupid. She is not stupid. I would not consider this character stupid. Of course, she does the typical horror movie thing where like you don't directly run away from the fucking demons. She actually tries to like kind of communicate and whatever, but again, there is a reason why she does that. And I like that it's very explicitly stated in the movie why she does what she does, because usually in these movies, these people are just like, oh my god, demons and killers? Let me just head towards that direction. Like, no, man. Start running the other way. But anyways, she's not doing that, which is very appreciated. Also, last thing, I actually do like the demonic presence in this movie. It has some character. It's not just bland, vanilla Satan or just a demon. Like, there is some character. Like, I feel like a lot of the things in this movie that are charming is well, charming, it's a horror movie, but you know what I mean. Like, endearing, well, that's even worse. You know what I mean. A lot of things that make this movie, like, very interesting is that they give a lot of flavor to these characters. There's a lot to like, unravel about even the demonic presence, rather. So I feel like that's a very refreshing take on some pretty basic concepts, which I think pretty much wraps up how I would describe this movie to people. Lastly, I'm gonna give it a grade like I always do, and I'm gonna give this an AA. An A. I'm gonna give this an A. I really enjoyed it. I I heard good things about it when I like went to go see it. So I kind of went to go see it late, like I mentioned. I kind of went in there wanting to like it. I ended up liking it. So maybe I'm biased. Who knows? Y'all should still watch it though.